people for their work or that makes sure people have what they need. We don't know how to have a democracy that cares for a diverse population or that isn't driven by racism and sexism. Simple, basic things that we've been working on for centuries, millennia. We still don't know. Basic things. And so this idea that we receive Torah in the wilderness because we have to be empty like a wilderness, because we have to empty ourselves of thinking we know. We have to clear ourselves out from all the things we think we know, all the things we think we've figured out. We haven't figured it out. We have not figured it out. And so that kind of humility, that kind of emptiness, that kind of making ourselves ready and open to be wowed, to be disturbed, to be shaken, to be blown open. That's what this night is about. So many offerings, so many words are going to be offered tonight. So much Torah is going to be offered tonight. And maybe we can clear ourselves with this service such that when those words come toward us, something happens in us that we see differently, more deeply, more imaginatively, more clearly. How do we live in the world? How should we live in the world together in a way that reduces harm, in a way that magnifies good? That's the question of Torah. Same question our ancestors have been asking for all these years. We're still asking. We don't know. So, it is Chag. This was serious and somber. We are going into Chag. It's true. But this matters. It's a Chag in which we actually, everything matters. Like that we could see differently matters. So let that be our kavanah for tonight, that we would enter this Chag with that intention, that we would clear ourselves out, ready ourselves, break ourselves open, so that we could be changed by Torah in all the ways that would heal us and heal our world. So, Mandalith is going to kindle our festival lights. We're going to say the blessing together.
We're on page 384. Everyone should have the full-size, heavy Siddur. The inside joke, it's normally called Mishkan Tefillah. The large ones are called Mishkal Tefillah. You can ask your neighbor about that Hebrew pun. Page 384. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel yom tov. Let's read together the middle of page 384. May these festival lights open our eyes to the joys in life, beauty that delights the eye, freedom to be ourselves, the knowledge of Torah that shapes our moral being, the heritage of celebration that unites us as a people. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this season. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Granted again the ability to sing together in person. It's been 3 years since we've gathered together in person for Shavuot. We're so glad you're here. That was Rabbi Timoner, Senior Rabbi of CBE. This is Cantorial Intern Jordan Goldstein, Cantor Lisa B. Siegel of Kolot Chayenu. I'm Cantor Josh Breitzer, Rabbi Noah Weistrick from Kolot Chayenu is here as well. And so are each and all of you in this space and on Zoom. Chag Sameach. We're glad you're here. We're going to continue now with Chatzi Kaddish, which can be found on page 392. We invite you all to please rise if you're able. ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגדה ובשמחה נבלו עמי שמי רבה ונורא לעלה ולעמי המיה תשתבחי ותתרומם להתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ובריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ושבקתה נחמתה דמירה ועמי ברוך אמן a handout when they got in. If you have a handout, you can hold it up over your head. We're on the side that says Ratso V'Shov, which Cantor Siegel wrote a beautiful melody for. Is that right?
That's right.
Oh, wow.
With your help, thank you so much. So these words come from Ezekiel, from this moment of the celestial Merkava, where these sort of creatures are running to and fro, and they're kind of frantic. And so it came out of that, and I think this idea of the ebb and flow of life is so important at this time of year too, and in this moment where we're kind of moving through and coming out of these liminal spaces and isolation and coming out and coming back, and where have I been and where am I going? This is a time to sink into all of that tonight as we study. We find our moments to revelation, to centering ourselves once again. Ratso v'shov, ebb and flow. Ratso v'shov, ebb and flow. Ratso v'shov, ebb and flow. Ratso ebb and flow. Here I am again for the very first time. Ratso v'shov, ebb and flow. Here I am again and again. Ratso v'shov, ebb and flow. Where have I been? Where am I going to? Counting the days to the ebb and flow. Where have I been?
398. בכל לבבך וכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. 402. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשיטתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובכורסך ופשטם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם במזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Page 406.
ניחמוך,
ניחמוך,
אלים אדוני,
אלים אדוני,
מי כמוך,
מי כמוך,
נדר בקודש,
נדר בקודש,
נורא, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Just this morning, we began reading from the book of Numbers, Bamidbar. In Numbers 12, a little bit later on in our book, Miriam is afflicted with snow-white scales. In other words, she is mitzorat kasheleg. Her brother Moses then cries out to God, begging for her healing. The Torah says that he cries out to God, vayitzok, saying, El na refana la, O God, pray heal her. But there's a seemingly superfluous participle saying. Listen, Moses cried out to God, saying, O God, pray heal her. That saying, lemor, is, according to our sages, characteristic of a conversation that requires a response. Moses cried out, but by saying something to God, Moses also attached himself to God in awaiting for a reply to his prayer. So we now turn to our prayers for healing, for the people we care about and the world we inhabit. And it's tempting to want to stay and wait for a reply, to anticipate a granting of the prayer as if it were a wish. Which is why Rashi commented, and he picked up on the fact that his prayer, El na refana la, was actually quite brief. He said that the prayer was brief so as to not give observers the idea that he prayed overly long, overly long for his sister without taking any action to then address the trouble that she's in. So with Hashkivenu and Mishaberach, we think of those individuals and communities for whom we pray for healing, and by doing so, we bring them into our sacred space. Because while the prayer is short compared to what struggle might lie ahead, it's essential for us to address our concern here in the house of God.
Hashkivenu is on page 408. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom V'Hamidenu Shomreinu L'Chaim Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shelomecha V'Taknenu Be'etzat Tova Milvanecha V'Hoshienu L'Ma'am Shemecha V'Hagim Ba'adeinu V'Aseh Me'aleinu Oyev Dever V'Cherev Ra'av V'Yagos V'Harchek Mimenu Avot V'Afesha U'B'Tzer B'Nafecha Tastirenu Ki El Shomreinu U'Matzilenu Ata Ki El Hanun V'Rachum Ata U'Shmor Tzeiteinu Uvoeinu L'chaim U'L'Shalom Me'ata Ve'ad Olam Me'ata Ve'ad Olam Baruch Ata Adonai Aporei Sukat Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael Ve'al Yerushalayim.
Page 511, Mishaberach.
Misheberach Avoteinu Mikol HaBracha Le'imotenu May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us stay. Amen.
At this time, I'll invite you to share the names of those you're thinking of for healing. Please share their names aloud or in your heart as I make my way around the room.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
One of the first choreographic features of the Amidah is the little shuffle. You might see the 3 steps back and the 3 steps forward. This idea is really at its core about entering into the space, entering into a holy space where you can offer prayers to God. The stepping back had to do with how cramped and crowded the sanctuary was, that you needed to take a step back in order to step forward. But if the whole community moved forward, that would work too. So it's a little bit challenging. So I suggest that whether you're doing a shuffle, tap dance, or you're imagining yourself climbing to the top of the Jade Temple in Kung Fu Panda, which I just watched, whatever it is, we're carving out this space and picturing ourselves entering into a space that's different from before, and a space that's different from what will come after. And on Shavuot, we approach this Amidah, we enter into this Amidah with a special composition, special additional prayers that are inserted into our Amidah, owing to Shavuot being a pilgrimage festival. It is with this practice of carving out space for ourselves that we continue with our Amidah.
Page 410. I invite you all to please rise for the chanting of Vaydaber Moshe, to be followed by silent prayer from 468 to 493. Again, for now, we're on page 410.
Vaydaber Moshe et Moadei Adonai el Bnei Yisrael. Ay, 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 ay.
handout that you received, you see these verses from Psalm 59, which is part of the Tikkun Khalil of Rabbi Nachman, a series of texts that you would prescribe to say whenever you needed to do any kind of teshuvah, any kind of tikkun. So how appropriate for us on this Tikkun Leil Shavuot to recite these verses. And not only that, Rabbi Timoner, did you know? Medieval rabbis said that this psalm should be recited in time of plague. And so if you've been participating with us in Shavuot across Brooklyn these last couple of years, convening in this Mariv on Zoom, we've actually been singing this melody the last couple of years because of the times that we're in. This is the first time we're getting to do so in person. And we think, of course, not just of late-stage pandemic times, but of all the other plagues we find around us. And so we sing these verses, praying for strength, praying for song, praying to make it until the morning. Ay, 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 vani ashiru zecha, varanein laboker chasdecha, ki hayita miskavi, umanos beyom tzali, vani ashir, vani ashir uzecha, varanein laboker chasdecha, ki hayita miskavli, umanos beyom tzali. Ashir uzecha, varanein laboker chasdecha, ki hayita miskavi, umanos beyom tzali. Let's all rise together. Vani ashir uzecha, varanein laboker chasdecha, ki hayita miskabli, umanos beyom tzali. Uzi elecha, azameira, azameira, uzi elecha, azameira, azameira, uzi elecha, azameira, azameira, uzi elecha, azameira. Just our voices, yalalai, here we go. Ay, 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 we're standing, we're together, we're at Sinai, just about. Page 586 in the middle.
Ve'or aleinu, ve'or
seated. Everyone except Rabbi Green. Rabbi Green, Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach! Chag Sameach, everyone.
So man.
It's so good to see all of you in this space. And you may not realize it, but while we have been davening, while you have been in this space, people have been gathering across the street for two other minyanim, a traditional egalitarian minyan across the street and also an Orthodox minyan down below. And it's pretty extraordinary that we have these three minyanim happening while a rave bar mitzvah is also happening. And it's totally like the whole of the Jewish collective here at Sinai as it used to be, exactly as God intended. So I will, exactly. So I will list all of our partners across the street in a moment, but I just want to welcome you all here to our Shavuot across Brooklyn. It is really so special. We have many, many, many shiurim, and unfortunately the list of presenters is not in this room, but in just a moment, I'm going to invite you all to go across the street, so we'll make Kiddush all together, and there you will find a proper lineup. It's also available at cvbk.org/Shavuot for those of you joining by Zoom. And we have learning all throughout the night until 5 and then a minyan. And also stick around after Kiddush. We'll then make our way into the rotunda for a few minutes for cheesecake. And you'll get a chance to peruse the lineup and hopefully stay for a long time to learn with us. So thank you for being here. And as I said, I'll list all of the many, many presenters across the street. Chag Sameach.
Thank you, Rabbi Green, for organizing this entire evening of learning, and thank you to everyone who led us so beautifully in services tonight. Whenever we're together, we conclude our time by pulling our memories close, people we love whom we've lost. And on our festivals, we have a Yizkor service, which we'll be having tomorrow night, but it's a time when we are especially close to our memories of the people we love whom we've lost. And so I want to invite you tonight to just call to mind the losses that are closest to you, the ones that come up as you enter festival time. Maybe they were losses from this year, maybe they were losses from years ago, but they're just resonant tonight. You're feeling their presence or their absence, the ache of memory, the ache of loss. And I also, in particular, since it's Shavuot, want to invite you to think about the people who've gone before you, who helped you grow in wisdom, who helped you to understand something about yourself or about the world or about Torah, the people who were your teachers, the people who were your mentors, the people who you have gratitude to for opening your eyes to something that you didn't know before, or didn't understand, or didn't see. So I'm going to just actually invite you to call out any names of people you're thinking about. I'll just make my way around as Noah did before, and invite you to just call out any names of people you're remembering tonight. It doesn't have to be particularly, a formal period of mourning, but just anybody who's on your mind and in your heart as we prepare to say Kaddish together. I invite all those who feel that they are a mourner in this moment to rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Gadal v'kadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach cherutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chaye echon v'yom echon v'chaye l'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'elam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei v'kudisha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. V'hei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrama, huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace in the high places make peace for all who mourn. We say together, amen.
So 3 years ago, we were in this space together. And we ended leaping around the room. I remember you in particular, right over here, leaping around the room as we sang these words. The Har Sinai, Ashan Kulo. Oh yeah, in the before times, a long time ago. The Har Sinai, the mountain of Sinai, Ashan Kulo, was entirely in smoke, right? So my friend and colleague and wonderful Kohenet, Rabbi Jill Hammer, wrote that what the mystics understood by this was that Mount Sinai was at the junction of space, time, and soul. We were all there. Space, time, and soul. And that Ashan is an acronym in this beautiful way, Ashan Kulo. The Aleph as Olam, Ashan, Shana, year, so the world, the year, and Ashan, Nefesh, spirit. So the entirety of the world is wrapped in space and time and our spirits. And so this is an understanding in some ways that the reality we live in is ephemeral. And yet we are all so deeply grounded in that. So I'm gonna invite my singing colleagues and my rabbi colleagues back up here, who are also singing colleagues, and all of you here as we sing. And you can stand and ground yourself, and I'll teach it a little bit, and we'll build it up, see what happens. And Josh is gonna come over here, Rabbi Cantor Josh is gonna come over here with the hugest thing here. So we're gonna feel it any minute. So here it goes like this. We can repeat after me. Behar Sinai, Ashan Kulo, Ashan Kulo, Behar Sinai, Ashan Kulo, Ashan Kulo, You do have to be functional. I'm gonna take a picture of this set. I'm kind of liking this. Well, this is just like a nice set. Zoom is still going, FYI. Oh, hi.